Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. Had a big score today. I was messing around with mowers. I saw this pop up with a bicycle. Henrietta, the homeowner, advertised a bicycle in this Toro for $100. I had seen the ad and it had been up for 30 minutes. So I messaged her, told her I was 45 minutes away. So she says, come on up and I'll hold it for you. So everybody's got a story. If you meet as many people as I do buying and selling, picking these things up, everybody's got a story. So she actually just bought a Craftsman rider today, and there was no room in the shed to put the Toro. That was one of the reasons why she got rid of this. The bicycle was taking up too much space as well. So she's had this a year. Prior to that, her boyfriend had it. So kind of a crazy story. The boyfriend ended up robbing a bank, and they caught him 30 minutes after he left the bank. So I didn't know anybody would try such a thing in today's day and age. With all the cameras, they put dye balls in the money bag. Kind of a crazy story. So they snatched him up and threw him in prison. Apparently he owed her some money, so the sister of the bank robber said, we'll just take this Toro mower, that should cover what he owes you. So she grabbed up the Toro, and she's had it now maybe a year or so. So she said the last time it ran was last year. So I told her I would try to start it. It did not want to start. Maybe after the 8th pull it finally kicked off and started. I thought I was going to have an issue with bad fuel sitting in the carburetor for that long. But it finally kicked off, and she says another problem with the unit was that it wouldn't go in gear, it wouldn't engage. So she grabbed the pull bar for the self-propelled, and she says, look, there's a lot of slack in the cable. I think it's something simple. So she's been pushing this thing around for a year without use of the self-propelled. So I'm not too worried about that. I think it's going to be a minor issue. The thing is way too new to have any transmission issues at this stage of the game. If you can see this thing is in pristine condition. She said, oh, it came in a box, and I watched him put it together. Maybe he didn't put it together correctly. But I think with these units, they come pretty much assembled except for the handle. The handle folds down. All the other stuff is already assembled at the factory, so I don't think it's anything he did or didn't do with the unit when he put it together. So she had no paperwork with it, and she didn't have the discharge chute. But I had saved this one from that lawnmower repair shop that went out of business. I had an extra chute from that guy, so I know where it's going to go. It's going to go on this Toro. So let's turn this thing over and see what we can see for the drive system. There's no slack in the cable. I don't think it's a cable issue. It seems to be pulling pretty good with no sloppiness. She thought there was. I don't think there is. So let's turn this over. I've never had such a new unit. Well, maybe once. You want to tip it carburetor up. Just by looking at it from here, this thing looks fantastic. So she didn't lie and say that it was used a lot. It was not used a lot. You can just tell there's very little debris. Everything looks clean. She hit a couple of rocks though. I can feel that. There's some nicks. I can see what the main issue is. If you guys can see that. There's no drive belt here on the pulley. I should be able to see a drive belt here. So was that a factory screw up? They forgot to come back from lunch, forgot to put the belt on the unit. I've got a 10mm socket handy. Let me remove this plastic guard here. Give me a second. That looks like a 10mm. Anything happened when I was gone? So I wonder how many years you get for bank robbery. The only people that got away with that were Bonnie and Clyde. For a while at least. Then they ended up with 75 bullet holes between the two of them, so that didn't end well. At least this cover's easier to get off. So what's going on here? Something slipped out of place. The belt somehow slipped off the pulley. I wonder if we can coach it back on. Something like this. What do you think? Okay, let's see if it's on the main pulley. It appears it is. I can see it. So we're back on both pulleys. That was kind of a weird deal. I don't think the bank robber had anything to do with that. I don't know what the story was. How that jumped off of the main pulley. The blade pulley. Okay, let me put the plastic guard back on. We'll turn this thing over and start it and try engaging the front wheel drive. Hopefully this doesn't pop off again. Then I'll have to do some other troubleshooting. This thing has hardly been used. there should be no issues with this machine. The robber was in prison, and Henrietta, the homeowner, just used it last season. The bank robber should have started a landscaping company. He would have done a lot better. Use this fine machine to make real, honest money, not stolen money. I wonder if you get 25 years for bank robbery. Did he have a gun, or did he pass a note and say, "Give me everything in the drawer"? If he showed a weapon, then that's a taboo. Either way. Okay, let's mess around. Get Mr. Snake out of the way. We'll get this back on all fours and try this thing out. Then I'll show you the bicycle. Isn't this a pretty machine? I keep giving you a headache. Sorry, cameraman's not doing a good job. Okay, I'll focus you on the front wheel drive. Let's start this red beast. See if we're in business or out of business. We don't have shit in this. A lot of play in the drive cable. I think the stupid belt popped off again. Oh, and I asked about if she was using non-ethanol. She didn't know what it was, so that means this has got crappy gas in it. That's why it took so long to start. I got to get rid of the old gas. Let's turn this on its side again. I thought we were going to get lucky. Okay, there's definitely some sort of issue, which I'll have to further investigate. The belt's back where it was initially. It popped off and went up. So I got to figure out something's not in alignment. It's forcing the belt up for some reason. I'm wondering if the adapter here is bent. Did she hit something that really knocked the shit out of the crankshaft. Let me do a quick looky look here and see if this blade is bent. No, seems to be pretty straight. I picked a mark on the side of the plastic. Both ends go by the same mark. So I'm running out of video time. What we'll do is come back and look at this thing. Strange for such a brand new machine that it's kicking that belt off. Anyway, I gotta investigate. Gotta do some investigating. The only other thing I can think of, something's gotta be off-centered. Is there two different size adapter plates? Maybe they put the wrong one on. Maybe they have a shorter version than this one, which would force the belt groove closer to the crankcase. We got to figure this thing out. It may have been a factory screw up. I'm perplexed on this one. We got to come back and tear some of this stuff off and see what's not lining up and what's lining up. Well, that's a bummer. My $100 machine has got problems. So let me show you the bike at least. It's a 7-speed Avalon. Made by Next. I just did a quick search. There's two in the state for sale. One for $75 and one for $100. So potentially I could get most of my money back for the Toro. So I put air in the tires maybe 2 hours ago and they're still holding air. Henrietta said that she has two elderly parents she's taking care of. They're both in their 90s. She said she doesn't have time to ride a bicycle. Maybe that's why she got the mower, the rider. She can just hop on, cut it quick, and then help out mom and dad. Okay, that's it. Come back and see me. We'll do this again.